You ever had that one neighbor who thinks they run the whole neighborhood? Yeah, that's Karen. She called the cops on my dog, said he was dangerous. But what she didn't know was, I had cameras, receipts, and one epic revenge coming. Watch till the end, you're gonna love how this showdown ends. And hey, drop a like if you've ever had your own Karen moment. It started with barking. Not loud, not constant. Just the kind of soft, loyal sound that filled the air around Jake's small home on Elmwood Drive. Buddy, his golden retriever, had been more than just a dog. He was Jake's last piece of family after losing his wife 2 years ago. Every morning, Buddy sat by the porch, waiting for Jake to come home from work, tail wagging like clockwork. But peace is something the Elmwood HOA doesn't allow for long, especially under Karen. Karen was the kind of woman who wore her title like a badge: HOA president, rule enforcer, self-appointed queen of the neighborhood. She thrived on power, and she hated anything that wasn't under her control. And Buddy? He was joy she couldn't control. It began with letters. First, a note taped to Jake's door. Your dog has been reported for excessive barking. This is a formal warning. Jake sighed. Buddy only barked when someone walked near the gate. And that was rare. He brushed it off. But then came the second note. Then the third. Each one nastier than the last. Neighbors whispered that Karen was keeping a log. Jake didn't believe it, until he caught her one evening, standing on the sidewalk with her phone out, recording Buddy through the fence. That's when the storm began to brew. He walked out, calm but firm. Karen, what are you doing? Gathering evidence, she snapped. Your dog is disturbing the peace. Buddy's not hurting anyone. Karen smirked. Rules are rules, Jake. If you can't follow them, maybe you shouldn't live here. Jake could feel his patience thinning, but he knew Karen thrived on reactions. So he took a breath, turned around, and walked back inside. But that night, the flashing blue lights arrived. Buddy barked once, confused, as 2 police cruisers pulled up. Jake opened the door to find 2 officers standing in the glow of red and blue. Sir, we got a call about a dangerous animal on your property. Jake's heart sank. Dangerous? You mean Buddy? Karen stood a few feet away, arms crossed, playing the victim. That thing lunged at me. I feared for my safety. Jake looked at the officers, then at Buddy, who was wagging his tail, tongue out, the picture of innocence. Ma'am, one officer said gently. This doesn't look like a dangerous dog. Karen's tone shifted fast. He attacked me earlier. I have video proof. She pulled out her phone, showing them a shaky clip, Buddy barking behind the fence. That's it, Jake said, disbelief in his voice. He barked. Karen huffed. That's aggression. This neighborhood has standards. The officers looked unimpressed. Sir, your dog's fine, but maybe keep him inside for tonight. Karen smirked. You see? Even they agree. Jake closed the door slowly, his jaw tight. He could feel it, the quiet before the storm. Karen had crossed a line, and she had no idea what was coming next. That night, Jake began his plan. He gathered every HOA notice, every letter, every text Karen had ever sent. He installed cameras around his fence, documenting every move she made. By the weekend, he had something she didn't. Proof. The next HOA meeting was packed. Karen sat at the front, smiling proudly like a politician about to make a speech. Jake sat quietly in the back, a small folder in his hands, one that would change everything. When Karen opened the meeting, she started her usual tirade. First order of business, homeowner violations. One resident continues to ignore repeated warnings about his aggressive dog. Jake stood. Are you talking about me, Karen? Karen froze mid-sentence, clearly not expecting him to speak up. If the shoe fits, she replied smugly. Jake smiled slightly. Then let's talk facts. He opened his folder and began pulling out photos and videos, each one dated and time-stamped. The first clip showed Buddy calmly sitting behind the fence as Karen approached, taunting him with a stick. The next showed Karen standing near his yard at midnight, recording. The final clip? Karen slipping a note under his door that wasn't from the HOA, a personal threat. This, Jake said firmly, is harassment. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen's face turned red. That's not. Those videos are taken out of context. Jake stepped closer. No, Karen. This is context. You've been lying to everyone. Calling the cops. Wasting police time. All to push me out. He turned to the HOA board. And I have a copy of the officer's report from that night. They found no threat. No violation. Just lies. The board members shifted uncomfortably. One cleared his throat. Karen, is this true? Karen's voice trembled. He's twisting. He's making me look bad. Jake didn't need to say another word. The truth was right there, flashing on the projector for everyone to see. Buddy, calm and gentle, Karen acting like the villain she truly was. The room fell silent. Finally, the vice president spoke. Effective immediately, Karen. You are suspended from HOA duties pending review. The crowd murmured. Some clapped quietly. Others just stared in disbelief. Karen stood frozen, her power slipping through her fingers. This isn't over, she shouted. You'll regret this. Jake looked her in the eyes, calm but firm. No, Karen. You'll regret underestimating me. As he walked out, Buddy's leash in his hand, the late afternoon sun hit the pavement just right. Freedom. Weeks later, a letter came in the mail. Not from Karen, but from the HOA board. An apology. They even removed the noise ordinance that Karen had abused. Buddy barked once as Jake laughed, tossing the letter aside. For the first time in a long time, peace returned to Elmwood Drive. And Karen? She moved out quietly a month later, leaving behind her crown of control and a reputation in ruins. Jake and Buddy stayed. And every morning, as the sun rose over the porch, Buddy sat there, tail wagging. A silent reminder that sometimes, the smallest heart wins the biggest fight.